All of us have an image, an idea of what kind of person we would like to become. But what happens when we fall short of that? All of us have an idea of how we'd like our life to unfold. And yet what happens when circumstances don't allow that? Well, a short answer is that God adapts. God adapts. And when when one adapts for the sake of another, that's a profound sense of love. When we adapt our lives, our behaviors, for the sake of another, there is deep love there. Tom and Alice have been married about 7 years. And in their years of marriage, they have shown to many around them a real loving relationship, a real partnership. They show their signs of affection easily. Some of their friends often groan when they see them kissing in public. But they're really a very affectionate couple, doing very well. But suddenly, tragically, Alice, very young, only in her late 30s, suffers a severe stroke. Her right side is paralyzed. Everything changes in that moment. It's not what it should have been. It's not how they planned. It's not what they hoped it would be. And they have to adapt. For a while, there's a struggle that goes on. And one day, when Tom comes into their family room, he notices Alice, who is confined to a wheelchair, crying. He goes up to her and he says, "What's wrong?" And she says, "I can't do anything. Everything is different. I'm so discouraged. Everything I like to do, everything I want to do, I can't do. And I just am not able to be the kind of wife I want to be for you." She looked at him in tears and she said, "Even when you come into the room after work and I want to smile and say how good it is to see you," she said, "only part of my face smiles. The other part is still frozen in that frown. Only the right side goes down, but the left has some expression." Tom thought for a minute. He didn't know what to say, how to comfort, how to console her. What could he do that would make it different? And then, inspired by the Spirit, I have to say, he looked at her, got down on the level of the wheelchair, looked right into her eye, and kind of crinkled up his face to match hers so that his right side was more droopy and his left side was more alive. And he kissed her. And he said, "See, we still fit." Yeah, we still fit. Adapting. To adapt to someone is a profound sense of love. And that's really what we're celebrating in Pentecost, God adapting to us. It's not that we have to be clean and already purified, already holy and just before we meet God. It's God comes to us without any of that happening. We don't have to go anywhere. God comes to us. There is no one here who should feel they don't fit, belong, or that God with the Spirit cannot come and touch their hearts. Each of us are worthy of that, and in fact are promised it. What good would it do for us to have just celebrated Easter? For Pentecost now tells us that Easter season is ended. But the resurrection should have an impact in our lives always. How would that have an impact? How would that understanding of renewal, of rising above whatever was, of coming to life where we thought there was only hopelessness or death, how would that change if we were never given the Spirit? The Spirit makes those things alive. It allows us to renew our hearts, rekindle some hope, and live in new eyes. The Spirit makes that Easter message a part of who we are. For the Spirit comes and adapts to our lives. There is no place the Spirit cannot come. There is no one to whom the Spirit will not offer those gifts. So we look at our own lives, and if you feel some way that you're enmeshed, surrounded, and engulfed in a sense of sinfulness, then it would be the Spirit that would come to move your heart to repentance, to reconciliation, to recognize you're not someone to be discarded, but someone to be forgiven. Or if it is that you feel in some way there are compulsions or your addictions have you controlled. Your life seems to be spinning away from your own control. It is then that the Spirit comes to enfold you, hold you fast, and then gives you the strength like steel, with a will that would say, no, no more, not again. Or maybe it is that you have felt some loss in your life, and you feel that there is not much hope in living. That loss seems to be so prevalent, and your sorrow overcomes you. It's then that the Spirit comes and plants within you a renewed seed of hope that say, all is not lost. All is not the best in the past. There is still hope, for God is in your future. Or maybe it is you lost that zest for living, that sense of the promise of what's ahead. Maybe your life is seemingly such a routine that it seems to lack any purpose. It's then that the Spirit comes to renew you, to open your eyes, to see the possibilities, to see the grace near you, the blessings surround you, the people among your friends. That Spirit helps you rekindle the possibilities. Or maybe it is that you have felt that brokenness through perhaps divorce or rejection in a relationship and grown cynical. It's then that the Spirit comes, tells you to be patient, but tries to remind you that love is desirable. Love is always possible. And the Spirit comes to kind of renew your heart and make it softer, less cynical. Maybe it is you and I who need to know those gifts of the Spirit, and especially those who in any way feel that their physical limitations are overcoming them. Maybe they've had some difficult times with medical issues, or maybe it is that they face even a terminal diagnosis. It's then that the Spirit comes and reminds us you will not face whatever it is alone. The Lord, the Shepherd, the Spirit will guide you, will be with you. Just surrender and let the strength of God raise you up. You see, that's what this feast is about. Is it about empowering us when we feel we have grown weak or we feel we have grown without hope? It rekindles within us, it renews within us all those gifts. For there is no place where the Spirit cannot come. There is no one whom the Spirit cannot touch. That's the importance. That's the power of this feast. So let God adapt to your life. Let God send you His Spirit.